Hi, my name is Sally Bernard, an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer. Welcome to Call Me Zena, a true story into the spiritual realms. Join me as I sit and discuss the journey of self-discovery, and with the help of my spirit guides, it's time to trust your intuition. Sit with me and call in live 888-994-4995 Studio A. And now onto the show.
Looking at myself, but that's okay. Hi, welcome to my show. It's Monday at 2:30. Here we go. Before I start, I just want to give a shout out to my husband who finished his cancer treatment on the same day. Thank you. He's still got a little way to go. It's going to be a couple of months before he feels completely okay. But on the same day, my granddaughter got engaged. So that's amazing. And the show is gratitude today, correct, Dawn? So I have a lot of gratitude for both of these people. They're both two people that I love very much. So here we go. We're going to open the show. Please call in with any questions. I have my guest today, Pete. Hi. Hi. I know you had a lot of problems getting here with the traffic, right?
I need a UFO to pick
But you
me
know
up.
what? You're here, and that's all that matters,
That's
right?
right.
Okay. And Dawn and Freddie will be here in a minute, and we have a few people in the studio. Unfortunately, also, I need to give a shout out also for Margaret, my friend, who was going to be here today, but unfortunately she got into an accident yesterday and is in hospital. So send all your good wishes to her, okay? I have not been able to speak to her yet, so my heart goes out to her too. Margaret, if you're listening, or when you do listen to this show, we're all sending you our love. Okay, so let's open the show. Any questions?
I thought maybe you can give us a little bit of information or thoughts from your guides and your collective on the importance of gratitude.
Okay, absolutely. And today was a good day, which having opened the show for the gratitude that I do have. You know, we often forget about gratitude. We take a lot of things for granted. And I'm also guilty of doing that. But if we stop and think what's going on in our everyday lives, even the smallest thing, if it's a positive, to remain positive is very important. But when something positive happens in our lives, we need to give gratitude to that. Right. I mean, my show has been many, many things, but I think it's important right now for us to, especially as the world is going crazy at the moment, crazy. Let's give gratitude for what we do have, that we have a planet to be living on. We have, well, not everybody unfortunately have homes, but whatever we have, no matter how big or how small, let's give thanks and gratitude to that. And it lifts, what it does, it will lift our vibrational energy, which is also very important, because that's what I feel brings positivity. If we're negative, negativity breeds negativity. Positive breeds positivity. So let's all try and lift our vibrational energy for the smallest little thing. Let's be gratitude.
Did you hear of the looping system on gratitude?
No, I did not.
This you might find interesting. Don will probably find this interesting too. You take the positive side of whatever you're starting with, and you loop it, and you build on top of it left, center, and right. It keeps looping up and up. The energy in the universe comes back to you again. Nice positives to do with your husband, to do with your car, to do with your friend, something you're looking to buy. Keeps looping, looping, looping. And if any of those negatives sneak in, you try to deal with it very quickly and keep it at a very low degree.
Okay, yeah, that's just very much what I talk about a lot on my show. I mean, that was a good explanation for it. Because as long as we do remain positive, I believe it definitely brings forth more positivity.
It's like a build, a build, a build.
Yeah. So, okay, anybody in the studio audience, or Dawn or Freddie over there who's...
When things get rough, Sally, and everyone in life has speed bumps and things get difficult and life changes. Like I'm watching my parents get older. It's not hard to find the gratitude, but sometimes you have to stop and I have to reposition my mindset to say, let's look for the gratitude. Things have changed, but I'm grateful that they're with us. I'm grateful that whatever it is, how do we go about doing that and then still respect who they are?
It's awareness. We look at what's happening to us. Yes, we all have, obviously, negativity in our lives. but the awareness of what's going on, you're aware, thank God your parents are still with you. The little things that might annoy us sometimes, and we all have that because that's human, we're all human. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't get annoyed, but then again, we should look at what we do have, be it the smallest thing. As long as we have gratitude for that, we begin to change our mindset. I came in once again into the studio. I was not myself in the best frame of mind at that point. However, what happened, because I was upset about my friend being in a car accident, we all have that. I mean, we're human and we have our feelings, but we can turn it around. We can lift ourselves up a little bit. And as I often say, once something good happens, that positivity, it leads to something else that's good. If it's bad, unfortunately, we stay in that mode, we find our day is not going to be okay. It really works that way.
I find there's a system in my writings I told you about. There's a writing theory system I do on marriage therapy. You take the chemicals that are inside everybody's body. We all have serotonin, dopamine, testosterone, estrogen. In order to keep feeling well about each other inside of a marriage or a friendship, those chemicals have to keep being produced in the body and keep rising.
Right.
So in order to get that done, you literally have to go into a system of where the two of you, male, female, female, whatever you're dealing with, has to do wants and needs for each other. A marriage therapy. Most marriage therapists don't talk about this. I start asking you what you need from me. You tell me 2 or 3 things.
Just put your mic closer, do you know?
Right, thanks. You turn around and say to me, what do I need from you? Keep it reasonable, maybe a little bit of advanced wants and needs. And then you'll find that the chemicals start building inside your body and you like being around each other even more.
Is it serotonin that we're, yeah, that came, they just told me that. It brings forth that serotonin.
Exactly.
It's really very important, yes. And it works both ways because if it's a bad thing, then we're putting forth bad energy, plus it's going out into the universe.
Yes, it's amazing. Now, I think if this type of marriage therapy had been taught for the last 23 years in this country, I think the marriage divorce rate would probably be down to normal 3 to 5 to 8%.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm waiting, Freddie. I know you had some questions for me, and I'm waiting for them.
I almost asked you why the cameras weren't working, the TVs. But they are.
They're working now, yeah.
Yes, they have to be synced up. And I think that today's subject matter is what?
Gratitude.
Okay. Lesson learned. I wanted to ask you, why does it take people until something bad happens before they understand that what they had was better than what they thought they should have had?
That actually is a really good question, and it's probably not the easiest question to answer, but it happens to all of us. Unfortunately, we don't always see what we have until it's taken away. And that's what I'm feeling they're telling me. So no matter what it is, we somehow, because we're human, we're here, we take for granted so many things, but the things that we have can disappear. That's when we say to ourselves, also, why does this happen to me, which is a negative. But if we could just look around and see what's going on and be grateful, as you had mentioned, and I love what you had said earlier on your show, Freddie, the fact that you are living maybe in not the biggest of places that you had, but you're finding such gratitude in maybe a slightly smaller place. Both is good, but we need to find that gratitude no matter where we are. We have a roof over our heads, we have food. Not everybody, unfortunately, has that. But if we can just be thankful for what we do have, the smallest little things, it works. We really need to do that. Do I do that all the time? Absolutely not. I'm glad we're doing a show on this because it's making me see what I do have, and I have gratitude for that.
So do we learn to be grateful, or do we learn how to get to being grateful?
Well, I think we do both. We learn to be grateful, but we have to sometimes learn our lesson to be grateful. So we could have certain things, and when it's taken away, we say, oh, poor me, this has been taken away. But even at that point, and I can bring back when I first came into this country, and it reminded me very much of what happened to me. you need to be grateful for anything that we have. We're alive, we're here. Okay, some people will say, okay, this is not such a big deal, but we are here and it's good. When I first came to America, and people that know my story, that may have read my book, I had a lot taken away from me. And I didn't know where I was. I'm in a strange country, and I had no intention of saying this, but I see this. I had a beautiful house in London. I come here, and I don't know where I'm going to live. However, I found a little tiny studio, and this reminded me. And I love to move furniture around. And all it had was a bed and a little kitchen sink. But you know what? I still did what I always did. I moved that bed into a different position. And I didn't realize, because I didn't know what I did know, but I didn't know I knew this. I had gratitude for that. I thought, well, I can still move my bed. There's still room enough to move it somewhere else. When you were talking today, that came and flashed into my mind. I said, you know what, I have to say this on the show. We don't have to have a lot of things to be grateful. We have to be grateful for the things that we do have. Small or big, it doesn't matter, but we need to never lose sight of that. We have to be grateful.
Yeah, and it's an interesting point of the question that he just asked. That was a fantastic question, by the way. The answer to that is interesting. We're all born with a certain cells within the DNA. The DNA carries information about it. And part of that DNA is what your parents and their heritage set up to do with what is appreciative and not appreciative. So you're actually born with that. And then you get to a certain age, around 13, 14, 12 years of age, you get close to 18, you redirect your own programming about what is going into that making of that, and you discover a whole new life from there too. It's amazing.
So I think for me, just even maybe talking about what we would, which is good too, is to be aware of this. Awareness is very, very important today, whatever is going on in your life. And you know, again, many things, and especially in my life, many things have happened. But when I look back, I didn't appreciate, actually. I did at that time. But today, I really try to appreciate and show that gratitude to whatever it is, even a friend. Unfortunately, Margaret, I don't know if you're listening, but when I heard that she'd been in a car accident, I suddenly felt, oh my gosh, I need to be there. Friendship is so important. No matter a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. But to have a friend, you don't need many. I have a lot of acquaintances, but they used to say, on one hand, if you have 5 friends, that's important. You know that's true. You don't have to have even 5, but be grateful for the friends that you have that are there through good times and bad. I used to hear that a lot. I've had, unfortunately, recently, I've had some bad days, but my true friends have been there for me. You guys in the studio, I'm saying something that you know that I mean this. I love this place. I love the people here in this studio. I feel home here because I know that you're genuine. I love that. I've been very lucky, and I'll say this on the air, I'm very lucky to be your friend here in this studio.
I got a question for you. When you heard about her being in that accident, how much of you needed to heal her, to go see her and heal her mentally or physically?
Well, I heard later in the evening, and I spoke. I actually haven't been able to speak to her, but obviously I'm sending vibrations out. She's okay, she's alert and she's awake, and she didn't hit her head, which is a good thing too. Yeah. So I will go, obviously I will go and see her. Hopefully she's not that bad, but life can change in a second.
Everybody's talking about that.
And it's so true, Pete. Yeah. It's so true. Life can change. And today, you know, as I drove here, was a little bit more careful than I usually am.
That's what I'm doing on the road.
Because I said to myself, I don't know, you know, I'm okay. In fact, what I did, and I feel very stupid that I did this, I banged the front of my car getting out of my garage. And I was so upset about it. And then a couple of hours later, I hear Margaret was in an accident.
Wow.
So what? So what I ordered was something to polish it off, and 90% of it, yes, I have a dent, but so what? I'm here, and I'm fine.
That's almost like a psychic occurrence right there.
Right. So gratitude is important.
You're stunning me here.
Okay.
I think one of the things that I want you to touch on is gratitude begins with home. I don't think people are grateful enough towards themselves, and they're always looking to stretch gratitude for somebody else to notice. And in my book, that doesn't make any sense. If you don't notice the gratefulness of yourself and the things that you accomplish and do, then why should anybody else? So can you touch a little bit about
No,
that?
I totally agree with you. It all starts with us, with the person. And we give out vibrational energy there too. I can say something as you just suddenly related to something. So what I'm saying that I'm grateful for, you may feel that you had a similar situation and it will suddenly make you aware. Awareness is very important, but it all starts with us. You know, to be grateful that we are here, to be grateful for the food that we eat. I often say this, do I practice this all the time? No, I do not. I'm still here and I'm human. But it does make you aware of that you are able to, unfortunately for people that know with my husband that's had cancer, it's in his throat and he's not able to eat that. Well, in fact, he can't eat right now. Eventually he will. And I'm sitting there eating and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that I'm able to eat. And it makes you just look at these little things. Again, he will be okay, so he'll be able to eat eventually. But it makes you grateful for just the little, drinking water, just even having a drink, which he's had a little, I'm sure he doesn't mind because he had posted it on Facebook. He couldn't drink the water. And I'm sitting there drinking water. I've never been grateful for drinking water, but I am today. It made me open my eyes to this.
This goes back into a little bit of all that you two talking about to do with the paying forward concept. Paying forward. She handed me a glass of water before. I said, well, she's only got a couple of seconds for me and her to talk about her, so I pumped her fist.
Right.
Pay it back forward.
Exactly,
Again.
yes. I know you did you come on a bicycle here? Or yes,
In a car.
Okay, because I thought, oh my gosh, you look very tired. You need some water.
I am tired.
Okay, all right. But
More
anyway, you're
water,
here,
too.
Pete, so that's what matters. Okay. All right. Any other questions on that, or we can talk about something else?
I think it's the little things that, right, we forget to be grateful for. So I'm glad you brought awareness to that as well.
I need it for myself. I definitely need that for myself. I'm very, very grateful for everything that I have. I will forget what I've said sometimes, obviously. We do. We just take it for granted. But the key to this...
How much of each day do you do the positive versus the negative? What's your percentages?
That's a difficult
That's a
question
difficult
to
question,
answer. I mean, I try. I will become positive if someone's talking to me with negativity.
And
I will
you
try
try
and
to
turn
turn
that
it
around
around
into a
with a
positive
positive.
situation. Do
positive
I
right
walk
there.
around all the time being positive? No, I do not.
Right.
But at least I'm aware of it. Yeah, to
Exactly.
be honest, I'm still here, human, with problems.
Most people talk about watching comedy at night or during the day on television.
I don't necessarily need something like that because
No?
but yes, it helps. Of course it helps. If you're going through a difficult time, you don't necessarily want to watch a movie that is going to bring you down. So yeah, anything helps.
I think difficult times are to be expected. I think that you're always going to have a certain amount of time per day where it's not going to be easy, no matter what it is. It could be the most frustrating. I couldn't get out of the house today. Everything I tried to get out of the house, I messed up. It was the most frustrating 20 minutes of getting to the studio today. But you know what? It is what it is, and I'm grateful for the fact that I got here.
Exactly, yeah. But once we become aware of that, we'll notice that. Because, and I use this expression a lot, people will say, and again, I do the same thing, I'm having a bad day. What happens to the rest of the day? It continues to be a bad day. But just try it one day. If you're having a bad day, say, my day, I'm grateful for it, I'm here, I am going to have a good day, I am having a good day. It changes your attitude. It definitely changes your attitude. Even if it's just for 10 minutes, at least you've had 10 minutes of having a good day, right?
It also increases the energy inside
Exactly,
your body, too.
exactly.
What I just took about what he just said, I didn't look at you as messing up anything trying to get out of your house. I took it as though you were teaching yourself better and better.
Well, that's the adjustment. But,
Right.
But sometimes you try to take a shortcut, and you end up adding time
Yeah.
to where you want to go. So,
Right.
By messing up, I meant I didn't get from point A to point B. I ended up going through point C and D, but I mean, I got here. But the bottom line is, I think that we have to think less in our heads, get out of our heads. We do too much of that, and we end up worrying ourselves. I saw something in a movie yesterday, you shouldn't worry about something that hasn't happened.
I think we expect too much of ourselves, actually. That they're telling me to tell you too. Sometimes we put high expectations on ourselves, which are not always achievable at that particular time. So if we do it gradually, little by little, to what we think or want in our lives, every little bit towards that goal helps. It's very important to remember that. It's not all going to happen overnight. That's not what we're here for. We're here, in my spiritual belief system, we're here to learn lessons. So we have to do it gradually. And getting back to the spirituality maybe of this, sometimes, and I heard someone say that, and I actually said this to somebody, sometimes our lessons that are hard means that we've chosen that we're more on our journey. So if everything went smoothly for a while, something will happen for us to wake up, I call it waking up, to wake up a little bit more. And we'll say, why does this keep happening? But then look at it from the point of view that we're to learn that lesson. So the more, and this happens, it certainly happened to me. One thing will happen, and then I'll think it's all over, and then the same thing will happen again a month or a day later. But today I say to myself, okay, this is a lesson I'm meant to learn. So right away I'm looking at the positive instead of the negative of whatever the situation is. And that's really, really important.
We were talking about the time travel and past lives last two
Right,
weeks ago.
yes.
Then you get into that teacher mode, and what you're talking about, you become your own teacher or somebody else's teacher. It's like a ping pong game, back and forth.
Exactly.
Right.
And I think the more and more you get deeper into this, let's call it deeper into it,
Right.
the more situations will actually happen that will actually you can more see what you're here for,
Exactly.
actually. And that's really, really important.
I wanted to ask you, other people's point of view. Sometimes you do something and you make it look easy because it's just who you are. And sometimes other people misconceive that and they think that you have it all together and everything and anything, and they misconceive the point that you are so better off ahead, and they begin to put little tidbits in your mind, and they begin to play games with how you think, and they ask you their negative questions because they can't see what you do to be so positive. How do you handle somebody like that?
It's a very good question, actually, because I think we do have that. Human beings have envy, jealousy, they have a lot of things. And even if you're not necessarily aware of it, it does happen to many of us, I would say nearly all of us. But be aware of that. Be aware of maybe that person may be hurting and you're not over that particular thing, say. So they're going to, it's like we do this. Oh, you're so lucky, but you're always okay. But that's okay. But that's not always where they're coming from, because they're hurting, because they can't necessarily, I don't know if this is answering your question, but I mean, they're hurting. So I think to have empathy for that person when that happens. The word is empathy. I'm feeling that very strongly. And it's, if someone can do something to you even, feel, just try to be nice to the person. I always say, I'm not always that way. But try to see maybe their point of view. Maybe they're hurting. Maybe they're coming at you at something and they're envying you, no matter what it is. And the lights just went dim, and I think that's the spirits talking to us.
That's a spiritual signal.
Absolutely,
right
it's a spiritual signal.
That's happened twice in the last 3 weeks.
There we go. Okay.
Interesting.
So,
So you believe that you should turn the other cheek
Well-
when they are actually not understand. Where's the lesson learned on their side is my question. In other words, we're always looking to make adjustments and to learn, just like you said a little while ago. But then where is the adjustment and the learning factor that they should come?
well, that's up to the other person too. I don't believe we should ever take abuse from anybody. If we're, then I think you should speak up. If they're doing something really to hurt you or you don't like it, I believe you should speak up because you don't want that abuse. But normal, maybe everyday little things or whatever the case may be, if it's really, and you feel that, they're hurting, but they have their lesson to learn. We don't know what's going on in other people's lives. So, in other words, I guess my answer to that is not to be so quick to judge somebody. And I'm guilty of this because I don't do this all the time, but because I don't know where they're coming from. And I think just the awareness of that is what's extremely important.
Yeah.
So we don't continue to hurt them and also to hurt ourselves because we're trying to explain something to someone and they're not going to understand anyway because their mind is not there. Right?
Every psychologist I've ever talked to has said what he's alluding to too. We don't look to have somebody abuse us, but we learn from it the positive and the negative.
Yeah.
And it's over and over and over.
Well, I
again,
mean,
too.
I've had no formal training. Well, I did as a child, as a teenager, but to me, with everything that's happened to me, I can kind of see the point of view now of things that I need to tell people and talk about. I can use it in basic, and everything is going really dark in here.
Yes.
What's going on
We
here?
got spiritual moves here like crazy.
The moving lights on.
Okay, all right.
It's
I
pre-production.
probably look better with a darker light. So
Can you learn 2 lessons in one incident?
yes,
How you handle somebody, and then how you handle somebody again?
yes, you can, depending on whatever it is. But I believe you can, because I do believe that our life is a journey of learning. And if we want to speed it up, and again, the same thing can happen again, but it can happen with the same person. And then if we think we've settled whatever it is, I mean, we're talking hypothetically, we'll go, and then again, sure enough, the next month, the same thing is going, if we haven't gotten that lesson learned,
And
right?
it's so interesting what you're saying because the speed of which that happens again and again tends to pick up. So it's almost
Because
like
we're
a-
getting closer to completion
correct.
on that
correct,
particular
correct.
whatever it is. So the
Absolutely
more we
correct.
get into completion, we're done with that. But I have also said on my show, Pete, and they know this too, that if we're not done and we depart, we transition from here,
Right.
we're going to come back and we still have that same thing, whatever it is.
You've heard of that
And
concept too.
well,
Yeah, you're
this is
coming
what I
back, right,
believe, and
yeah.
I trust who's talking to me right
Right,
now because
right.
I'm kind of in a trance with
Okay.
it. But they're telling me it doesn't finish just because we leave here.
Whoa,
But it doesn't
yeah.
always happen in the next lifetime. It could happen 2 or 3 lifetimes from now, to bring it back more on the spiritual basis here. So if we don't finish it and we don't remember, though, it will sure enough happen again
Interesting.
till we learn our lesson. Because if you think about it, and you don't even have to believe what I'm saying,
Right.
but why are we here?
Exactly.
Why do we come back? If you believe that,
It's
there
learning.
has to be a reason for this. It's a learning experience. And I often say, well, people say to me and ask me the question, well, what happens when we're all done? Where do we go? My answer is, I don't know. I really don't know. And I'm not meant to know right now. They're not even telling me.
Do you think we go to some kind of a dimension or something?
No, that I will talk about.
Okay.
But when we're completely finished, I call it an illusion. So when we're completely with this, we go, I don't know. I don't want to know, and I don't know.
That's very interesting. Here's an interesting case study. My ex-wife and I had an interesting situation. The therapist saw this was the most amazing thing the therapist had ever seen. My ex-wife had no alcohol, no drugs, no toxins in her body whatsoever, but she was allowing people to steal all of her money. Steal all of her money. So the positive out of that negative inside the room became, she's teaching us something about that. Let's come up with the answer of what to do for her and I to keep the balance within the marriage. That's a case study.
Well, I mean, without knowing the whole situation
Right.
on that, we all, it's a learning experience.
Exactly.
It just brings it back to a learning experience.
Right.
Thank you. We're going to leave for a few seconds, come back on the other side of my show, and I love to say that, not the other side. We are going into a commercial. Thank you. See you in a minute. This world, this life, this illusion. What is going on, we ask? What is happening? Why not take time and see what is happening? This world as we know it, it seems so real and yet so far away from where we've come. Corruption, greed, anger, power, revenge. Please wake up. We can change what is around us. How, we may ask? Learn to go back to where we were. Then we will have the clues. Then we can change and go forward. Please take the time. Do not fall into the game which we have put upon ourselves. We can change. We can make a difference. We have the power, each and every one of us. Go in peace. Go with love. Go as one. Zena.
A true story, Call Me Zena, is the telling of Sally Bernard. Born in London, England at the end of the Second World War, she came to the U.S. in 1979. A mother of 2 and grandmother of 4, she settled in Florida and worked in real estate. While going through a difficult time in her life, she was admitted into a hospital overnight in December of 2005. While settling back into her life, she began having vivid dreams and documenting them. By the 3rd dream, a lady gave her a message to draw. With no artistic background or interest in art or history, Sally listened to her dreams and grabbed paper and crayons. Today, she has over 150 pieces of inspiring art and poetry. This book follows her journey and interpretations of these messages. She describes in detail how she's able to astral project and who she has met along her travels, including her spirit guides. This book will show you how anything is possible with an open mind. These events have changed Sally's life's direction, and this book will show you how to change yours. Purchase Call Me Zena on Amazon today.
Thank you for joining me through this journey of self-discovery with the help of my spirit guides. I'm Sally Bernard, and you can find my book and artwork by visiting artbysallybernard.com. Now back to the show.
Hi. Oh, I didn't realize. Hello, everybody. Okay. All right. Freddie, I'm intrigued. I want to hear your question.
I wanted to ask, sometimes as life goes along, we meet somebody or something that sort of challenges things that we used to do beforehand. And I guess the lesson learned is how we're going to handle that situation. And sometimes we can't figure out the answer, even though it's facing us right to our face. So my question is, if somebody else sees the answer, should they express it to the person they should see it, mind their business, or just move on?
They can express it, but the lesson is for you. So even they say something, you still, maybe you can learn something from them expressing it, no matter what the situation is. But basically, we all, as individuals, have lessons to learn. So we can talk about our lessons to other people, but ultimately, whatever decision we make is ours alone. I used to, I would follow sometimes what people would tell me to do, but it wasn't always the right thing for me. I would go against perhaps what I felt was right. But I think in answer to any question as far as that goes, is that we have to go within ourselves. We have, and I did prose on this without knowing, we have the answers. We have the answers for us, ourselves. So if someone else is giving you a different answer and you don't feel, they may bring something up that is related to what you're talking about. I mean, it's hypothetical because I don't know what it is. But it may give you a clue, for instance, what you're meant to do. Ultimately, the decision is yours, though. So they may try to sway you. Many people do. I mean, even with sales, they're trying to sell you something. But it's still up to us to make that decision.
I got a question for Freddie. How often do you think you're in the here and now, like right now? Are you thinking also about something else too?
No.
Good.
I'm here.
Good.
And here I stay.
Excellent.
Once this is done, and then move on to the next. I don't worry about.
Right.
I don't worry about anything else.
Uh-huh.
That's very important too. I never realized the importance of being in our now, because our now makes our next now. And I used to hear that so many times, but it's important to concentrate, as you said, I'm here, I'm doing my show, I'm talking to you guys in the studio. when I'm out of this now and the cameras are off me, I'm in my next now. So that's very important.
I like
it's
that. The
difficult
next
to
now.
understand that,
Yeah.
but it's important.
I like that. The next now.
Every now is another now, right?
Every now is another
Right.
now. You gonna write a book on that or what? Maybe. Possibly.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
We're
No.
getting silly. Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. Any other questions about the now, about anything? Dawn.
As I'm sitting here
My
doing
daughter from
things-
another life
as
is
I'm,
very
as
quiet
I'm
over
posting
there.
things for you in the now, it's hard to stay present in the now all the time.
But it
But it's
isn't, it
important.
isn't, because we're in the now anyway, whether you like it or not.
We're here.
So you need to be here where we are to make our next now. Yes, it's hard to remember that, but if we remember it, then it helps. You know, if let's say we're thinking of something, and we don't know what the outcome, so we're solving that problem. They're helping me. This is not me. In our totally, I would not know this. In our now. So while I'm talking about this, they're telling me, well, I can't go with what's going to happen 10 minutes from now because I don't know. But they can tell me how we're going to approach that next now. I don't know. Thank you, guys.
Are they giving you voices or are you feeling feelings?
I feel it.
It
It's
is.
a telepathy. I know my guide, Aldo. Aldo, I want to give you thanks because I know you're here with me right now. For my viewers who know Aldo is, he's absolutely with me 100%. So, yeah, we go from here. He's going, go on with your show. Okay, all right.
This is funny. It's actually funny. I thought of a positive. Now is NOW. What is now backwards?
One.
You won in the now.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Pete.
isn't
Yeah,
that
that's very-
interesting?
yeah.
Like I stay in the moment.
That's what we're meant to do. We stay, because all we have is that moment. Because people say, you don't know what's around the
That is
corner.
true.
We don't know. So let's appreciate. Guys, it's hard. It's very difficult. But that's the gratitude. Let's appreciate right now what we have. Because I don't know what's going to happen to me 15, 20 minutes. I know right now I'm sitting on this chair. I'm enjoying it. I love it. I love my audience here. I'm going to get up from the chair and I'm going to create something else. Same with everybody. Let's enjoy what we have. Let's take time out. I also, when I was writing prose, when I was doing my art, they say smell the flowers. Let's do these little things. It doesn't take much while we're still breathing. Let's smell the air. Let's smell all these beautiful things that are going on. Everything. Let's turn this around. If everybody would do this, there would be a lot less problems in this world. It's very unlikely, unfortunately, that suddenly everything is going to change, but let's try to make that first step, okay?
I think the concept of smelling the flowers has been also transfixed into watch the dogs and the cats now as they bring joy to us
Right,
every single second
Yes,
of the day.
yes. These little things. I mean, Aldo, my friend who was with me for so many years, he used to watch the ants. He would take my little
Yes,
dog out and sit
really.
there on a bench, and he'd say, you know what these ants are doing? This is incredible. And I'm thinking, what the hell is he talking about? But they build things.
Right.
How are they able to do that? They're building things so that they can live.
Sally, what message would you give for somebody who never watched your show before and tunes in and they hear words like gratitude and patience and things that you're describing? What kind of advice would you give to somebody who's just not having a good time right now with life?
Okay. Continue to listen to my show. I do the best to help people here to remain positive. And anybody that's listening that's having a bad day, I know what that bad day is. I've had bad days. But say to you, you know, they used to say the saying, and they're telling me to tell you, there's light at the end of the tunnel. So no matter what you're going through, you don't want to make it worse. And I truly believe that if you feed into all the negativity that's going, and it's real, you're having a bad day, but the more you feed into that bad day, I truly believe it's going to get worse. So if you believe, it's all in our belief system. What we believe comes about. I truly believe that. We're energy. So let's say, I'm done with this bad day. I'm going to go and look outside. I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to learn to breathe. I'm going to change this around. You know what? Just think that and do that. The worst that can happen, it might just stay the same way. But let's try to do that.
I find it interesting that the concept of human beings talking to each other now has transversed into with animals now, with cats and dogs. And it's become a one-on-one big thing now in this country. What do you think of that?
Talk with animals?
Yeah, talk with animals.
Well, my dog Sabrina, I probably didn't believe it, but Aldo used to talk to her the whole time. And suddenly she was like a human. I mean, really.
Really?
She was like whatever I would think, or I think, go out, let's go for a walk. Before I even said it, she was at the door waiting to go for a walk.
Wow.
So I do believe that, yes.
That's
absolutely.
big time energy right there.
No, she knew. Okay, guys.
Let me ask you a question. Last week we had a rough week here in the studio, and by Saturday I was pretty much just toast. What do you see going forward?
Okay,
as far
I
as
love the
changing
questions
that?
about the studio, because I think that whatever this is, I think we're meant to look towards the future with this studio here. Sometimes you have to go through the bad to get to the positive and the good, okay? So I do believe that you guys are actually changing a little bit here. It's not the same as it was. I've been here over a year now, so I know you as not a whole lot has changed. But prior to that, I believe that you are changing. Everything here in this studio is, even with the art, I can see a whole different thing with the art. This is my art behind me right now.
It's a beauty.
But you're going to, it's not just me, you're attracting more artists here. Just take today with your show earlier. Look at the people that were here that have the same belief that we have. I mean, unfortunately, they weren't able to stay for the show. Hopefully next week. But how did that happen? We had an artist, we had a spiritual artist, we had so few people here that are attracted to come here. I think you're going to go more, in answer to your question, and I'm doing this in a very roundabout way, you're going to attract more people with very positive energy. That's what they're telling me to tell you. And through that positivity, things are going to change so much here, so much. You are going to expand. And I know you had said something about the show earlier on your show about going into the parking lot here. I honestly saw, like, a stage out there. I mean, I don't know if you could even do that. May not be allowed to, with artists coming in to sing. And suddenly they're all accumulating. They're finding this little place along here, and they're going, they're not even going to know where they're driving, and they're going to show up here, okay?
It's almost as if you're talking about storyboards of magic, positive stages of this whole studio.
Absolutely. I've said that to them since I've been here. They are going to expand. I don't know if you can go up, but you can go out. I feel that. You may be able to go next door. I think I have a feeling about going next door, okay? All right?
What's the feeling telling you?
That they're going to be able to go next
door.
Okay.
It's amazing. You know, when I see this painting in back of you again, which is phenomenal, I'm getting a feeling the throne of you. Positive. The throne of you. What do you think of that concept?
The throne.
Throne. Like a master. A throne.
Okay,
Yes.
that's interesting, because my whole art changed. I was not drawing, like I was painting something totally, there's nothing else here. So a throne, okay.
Yeah.
I just started doing this about a month and a half
I'm actually
ago.
seeing that energy coming right down
Okay,
into
that's
you.
interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pete.
You know, it's interesting. My co-host here saw it as a very challenging last week, and I saw it as an opportunity that allowed us to expand into things that we never did before. It started on Sunday, it went through to the event that we did at West Palm Beach, and then we did another event, and there was more events. I didn't see it as tiring. I saw that we had to use more of our senses to complete the task, and maybe that was tiring.
Well, what I'm feeling that's going to be more in your studio than before, entertainment, music, definitely. I feel there's a lot of people that are very talented that are going to be coming here. I also feel, as myself, with what I do, you're going to get a lot of spirituality with that. So these are the two main themes that I'm feeling. And this is going to go, I see a movie, it could be my movie, I don't know, I'm not sure. But I see a movie, and it's going to be about the cafe. I don't know. I see something.
She's kidding me, right?
She doesn't know.
I don't know anything. I just see this. But I'm also going to be part of this. Whatever it is, I am part of this. I see a couple of people that were here earlier. I see that they're going to be a very big asset to you. The two girls that were here, I maybe not mention their names because they may not like it, but I see that's very important. This is coming to me, and I feel that I'm on the right track here because I'm feeling like I even want to cry, okay? This is so important. I'm getting such strong energy for you guys, but they're saying to me, Sally, tell them you're going to be part of this. I am going to be part. I have no idea because you know you've not told me anything, okay? But it's coming through very, very strong. Does that help you guys? Okay.
The producer and the host.
I
Now
don't
look at
know.
this.
I have no idea. I just know what I'm feeling.
Yes, we're in the process of filming a trailer, a sizzle,
Whoa.
and part of it's going to be with you and some of our other hosts
Okay.
to bring
Whoa.
more
I
awareness.
We started that on Friday.
I didn't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, but they're telling me, and and the validation and the gratitude. Okay, I feel it, I see it, and it's so important. It's not just me. Actually, we can all do this. We just don't know we can do this. So just tune into the positivity of these things. You're doing the right thing. What they're telling me to tell you is that you're on the right track, actually. That I have to tell you guys. Do not doubt whatever you're doing. I'm here to tell you that. I didn't know any of this.
This is
So
this is like
do
magic
not
show going on
doubt
here.
what you're doing. Go ahead. You have a thought. You feel that it's okay. Don't question it. Freddie, I need, not so much Dawn, but I need to tell you, Freddie, do not question it, okay? Dawn, you have to help him with this. I'll help him. And if you need to call me sometimes.
I think you have it backwards.
No, I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah,
No.
She's the one.
No, Dawn is more analytical. I'm going to say she'll think it through more. But again, I think we have a call or something is going on here.
You have a caller question.
Do we have a call or a question or?
No, I think they're just like looking at you at
Okay.
this point.
I
No,
don't
I
think
know.
it's me. I think you got it
No,
backwards.
but okay, what I'm saying, no, Dawn will work. What I'm wanting to say to you, Freddie, I don't have it. You may question it more. Okay, this is maybe I didn't
I
come out.
don't question it at all.
You give it more thought.
I
sometimes.
don't.
Oh, I've got that part
It's
wrong.
her. She questions.
Guys, is it
Her
Freddie
answers
or
has
Dawn?
questions.
They're still pointing at you.
Asking for deflection now, aren't you?
They're pointing at you. They're telling me that, okay, I think we better drop this, okay? But whatever it was, it's very, very important. Whatever you're saying, I didn't know any of this, so go ahead with it. Guys, work that out between the two of you. I can't do that.
You know what this reminds me of? When I first called you up,
Yes.
you thought it was complete magic that I was tied into time travel
Yes.
and past lives.
Yes.
What's going on right here, too, is magic.
Yes. Well, I've known both these people over here.
Over here.
So let me
Yeah.
ask you, how do I not take in the energies of all of these events?
Okay, that's not easy. I went yesterday to the expo with Mindy, and we walked in, and I think this happened to me last year too. I said, I can't. I'm getting all this. I said, I don't feel myself. I couldn't even talk properly. So I removed myself from the room where a lot of stuff was going on, and we went to listen to one of the lectures, which was much quieter, and the lady was really good, actually. Recognize it, and if you have to leave, you have to leave. I didn't leave the whole place, but I left the room with a lot of bad, well, I'm not saying bad, it was energy, I shouldn't say bad. I couldn't take it. I was mumbling, I didn't even know what I was talking about.
That feel like a pressure energy?
I just, afterwards, I get very tired
Yeah.
and I just don't feel myself.
It drains you, Dawn. You're an empath, as I am too.
He doesn't believe in it, but
No,
yes.
no, Freddie. Well, this is what they're trying.
his
You brought
face.
up the
He
right thing
doesn't
because
believe
this
it.
is what we're meant to talk about. It's not that You don't always believe. I may not have expressed it correctly. It is so, okay? They're telling me, tell him, bang him on the head. It's so. That's what it was. That was my message.
What is it that you want me to know? What is it that you tell him, so what? What is it you're telling me?
Listen, okay? I'm not going to say judge because that's up to you, but just that. No, because I'm not here to tell you not to judge, but just listen. Maybe there is. I believe, just as a disclaimer, you are a really nice person, okay?
This is the back room
However-
stuff here.
She's talking about.
However, just sometimes don't be so quick. Oh, okay, I've got it. They're telling me. Tell him not to be so quick to judge. That's
Judge
what it
her?
is. No, not Dawn necessarily. In
Judge
general.
you?
No, in general.
Who the hell am I judging?
No. Okay.
I'm
feel
here
like
on a
Judge
good
Judy
day.
here.
I
I'm,
need
I'm
help.
here on a
Okay,
good day.
Okay, I'm holding the energy for you here. Anything. You know,
Anything.
you might say, oh, no, that's not going to work. Okay, they're giving me an example. Maybe it might work. Just give it a little thought. That's all. I'm going to stop now.
Well, you came right up to your throne right here.
I'm on a throne.
I find it so intriguing that he sees you on the throne because he
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
know that
I
either.
really
Oh,
would
yeah.
like to go into that a little
Let's
more.
go into that, Pete. What do you
Wow.
see?
Pete, what do you see? Tell me about the throne.
Well,
Because Dawn and I can relate to that.
all right. It's coming off of the energy
Freddie,
of this painting,
Okay.
and it's attached to you, and there's like strings of energy attached to you. And it came down to the same thing that happened when I was here 2 weeks ago, when I felt that same energy, and I was sitting on this seat.
Here's Psychic.
And I was looking at you and looking at your picture. So it's almost like a reverse inverse of a reverse energy, but it's
Why do you
coming
mention
right.
a throne? Do you see me on a throne?
Well, first of all, you're sitting on a seat.
But do you see a throne?
Yes, I see a throne, and part of the background of the throne is the painting.
Okay, this is a past life thing, you know that.
Probably, yeah.
Dawn was my daughter. in a
Yeah, we
previous
talked about
life.
that last time.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Freddie, I'm not sure. But you see, now he's quick to judge it, not judge it. Because
Boyfriend
what
in the
heck are they-
past?
No, they're
No?
just business
I
partners.
didn't say anything.
He was in a past life.
I used
this
to
was
take
an
care.
entertainment one.
I used to take care of the farm animals.
We may be gaining more viewers or losing some viewers, but that's okay.
It's unbelievable. Judging and things of that nature. I don't have
Well,
judgment.
it's not
on
judging
anybody.
so much. I think maybe I used the wrong terminology. We'll talk about this after the show, okay? It's not a bad thing what you do, but there is always, let's say there's two sides to every story, okay? So I do it. We all judge somebody. That's not unusual. I might judge somebody.
I'm back to judging it again.
Well, not necessarily you. I'm generalizing it to sound nice.
Well, let's say you were judging positive all the time.
Absolutely,
I mean, that's great,
yes,
judging.
absolutely.
I think it's
Thank
fine.
you for helping me out.
And you learn from it and you find the positives too.
You know, Sally, I'm in a business that making the wrong judgment costs a lot of money.
No, I'm not making
Not
light
only
of
for
it.
me, but for others.
Totally understand that.
And so
Freddie.
when that decision is made that it's incorrect, then things get a little wonky. So it's better not to have any judgment.
No, I totally agree. I understand that completely 100%. And you have to go with caution too. I mean, we all do. So I'm not necessarily saying that. Sometimes maybe, all right, I'll use me as an example. When I came out with the UFOs, you said, oh my goodness, okay. You might have just drawn a blank and said, I don't want to even know about that, as an example. So
No,
that's
I
more-
didn't say that.
No,
what
you
I
didn't.
What
but-
I said was I was amazed that you brought it up.
Yeah, yeah.
In the middle of your show, you brought that up.
Yes, I did.
Because one thing had nothing to do with another.
Absolutely.
But that's not judgment.
No, that's not judging. Perhaps I'm using the wrong terminology.
Listen, Steve was sitting over there.
That's my husband.
And even he said, what the?
You went like this, boom to boom.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
No,
that's
well,
great.
because I did talk a lot. I opened up.
Yeah,
to it
yeah,
so
yeah.
And when
much.
you and Rockefeller over here, when the two of you get together
Oh,
and you
Rockefeller.
start talking about the things that you talk about, man, I got to sit here and scratch my head because I've never heard of anything like that in my life.
So I guess that's what they're trying to say is, and you do keep an open mind, absolutely. Just know that perhaps some of the things I talk about, and I know you believe in me, Freddie. Okay?
I do.
But It is possible. So instead of saying to yourself, and this is not a criticism, but I think this is what they're trying to tell me, is be a little more, not even open-minded, because you are. I don't know, it's not me talking.
You getting this?
Disclaimer, this is not me. Dawn, come out with another question.
This is like
please.
SNL here.
It's her collective that's talking through her.
It's not me.
But I always ask you, how do you find balance between the spirituality world, who we are, our calling, versus the human world, the things you know you're supposed to do because we were been chosen, right? We talk about being chosen, versus the things in business and things you just have to do in this physical realm.
I think it's also, for me, I know it's the awareness of knowing that there is more than just what's going on in the world today. Many things that we take, we do, there's more behind it. Again, going back to the negativity of this, we say, oh, poor me, this keeps happening. But let's say to ourselves, there's lessons to be learned. And that brings in spirituality when we do that, because we're looking at it from a different point of view. So we see something and we see it in a different perspective, actually. The word is perspective. So what we see in our everyday life as a human being on earth, we all see that. But let's say that there is another perspective to that, to believe that we can change what we're doing here. So that now brings you into what we call maybe another realm of spirituality. So we may look at that slightly differently now. Once we do that, that same problem, because we know maybe we're meant to learn from it, or whatever we're meant to do, it doesn't sound so crazy when we go ahead and do it. Where somebody who's still here on earth is going to say, no, that's crazy. We're getting, actually, as I am now, I'm getting help somewhere else. I don't know this. I'm sure I don't know all this. They're telling me. So, and I don't remember my show. You guys are aware of that.
Yeah, you don't remember.
I don't remember
That's
until you
interesting.
start. But this is what I'm hearing, okay? And it's important to know that there is more. There is definitely more.
How many times do you watch the show over and over again after you
I
do it?
don't.
You
Sometimes
don't?
I don't even listen to it. Depends.
Wow.
But if I do, I'll remember some of it. I'll remember what I'm talking about
You're
at
right.
that time, and then whatever the next subject is, I won't remember until I see it played back.
Here's a positive for you. Your teaching that you're obviously doing right now with us,
2 more minutes.
you're going in and out of a British accent to an American accent every 8 seconds. I think it's
Oh
fantastic.
my God, I never knew that.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice that too?
I'm not allowed to say.
I guess you are, Freddie.
I can't judge.
Yes,
I
you
am
can.
a voice expert. She's
Really?
going, yeah.
You really?
I've been studying
well,
the
I'm
voice
from
and
England.
everything.
I was born in England.
I know that. I'm listening to that accent, and it's like it's doing this: American, British, American. It's
Well,
like
maybe
every
that's
eight,
who some are British and some are American in
That's
this
very
world,
true.
so they're talking.
past
to
lives
me.
coming right through you.
Well, Aldo was from Peru, so I might start talking Peruvian.
This is astounding. Every time I'm near this woman, it becomes astounding.
Thank
Do
you.
you hear Ishmael?
Ishmael, yes, I absolutely do. Why are you asking me
Whoa.
that?
Because it's why?
Whoa.
Ishmael?
Why are you asking that?
Because I keep hearing his name over and over.
Oh, okay. And I believe that it's his
Abraham's
guide.
guide, yeah.
Abraham's guide. I didn't know that, and I told him that, and he said, "Yes, that's my guide." Okay, so there's
But
a
he's got something
question.
to tell you.
He has. Is
Not
he here?
Abraham, but Ishmael. I feel like
What does he have to tell me?
you have to ask him. I don't know.
I just saw a doctor this morning, and the doctor was Ishmael.
God,
Whoa.
you are at home here, Pete.
Whoa. And I'm not lying.
Okay,
Whoa, no,
I think
whoa.
the question is for them to go ahead with whatever you're doing. That's a given.
Whoa.
Okay, so I don't know, something to do with health then?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
What neurologist and the psychiatrist for sleeping too. Two Dr. Ishmaels.
There you go.
Whoa.
Okay, I think we've come to the end of the show. This is a wow show. Please tune in this time next week, and we'll have more of this wow. Thank you, guys.
Can I give out my email address?
Yes,
real
you
quick?
can. Yeah.
JoycesRadio@gmail.com. Joyce is JOYCES radio@gmail.com. Thank you.
And don't forget me either. Okay. Who am I? I don't know. I'm in a trance. I don't remember my email.
You can also reach Sally at callmezena24@gmail.com.
Thank you.
Follow her on all social media platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and now TikTok.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I can't do that when I'm on my show. Thank you.
You have been
Okay,
watching
bye-bye.
Call Me Zena with your host, Sally Bernard. As an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer, know that you can always seek me out for resources by visiting artbysallybernard.com. Join us next week, Mondays at 2:30. Have a blessed day.